Hello everyone. Today I'm coming to you with a video about how I plan my knitting. So for a while now, I've kept a separate knitting planner. I think will be my fourth year of having a planner just for knitting. Now this planner is a mini size happy planner, not affiliated or sponsored or anything, but I just like this particular layout for my knitting planner. It's called a dashboard layout, and it has this task list down the side, and then separate sections, and then each day separately on this side, which is what I like to do for my knitting. I like to have weekly plans, so I'll just put my plans for the week over here, and then I will just do them or not as I get to them. I don't plan each day too much out in advance unless I have like a release date coming up and I need to do certain things on certain days related to that. But even before I was making patterns, I kept a knitting planner where every month I kind of like jotted down the things that I wanted to work on that month, what I would like to finish, and so on and so forth. So I thought I would plan my week with you. Now, this particular planner, it's undated. This is what it looks like. I added a few stickers. This is not necessary, although since it's undated, I did add some of these date stickers with hearts on it since it's Valentine's week. I don't know if you can see those numbers on there because they're gold foil and that doesn't always show up. You can also just write in the date if you have an undated planner. And sometimes undated planners are really great if you're not very consistent, and if it bothers you that you're not consistent, you can always just jump back in on a different week. You know, even if you haven't used your planner for a month or two, you know, a notebook would be great for this too, sort of bullet journal style. And I am going to talk a little bit about bullet journaling because I kept a bullet journal back in 2015, 2016, and I think that method of journaling has actually helped me with my knitting. It's all about mindset. And I think a lot of people can have a lot of stress around their knitting or guilt. And I would love for people to release their guilt. And part of that, I think, is changing your mindset. Now, a lot of times people may want to change what they're doing to get rid of the guilt, but I would like to argue you don't necessarily have to change what you're doing. You just have to change your mindset. And bullet journaling has really helped with that. Okay, so before I get too far into the video, I just want to say that this is what this journal looks like. And I don't always decorate it. This is the weekly view. I'm going to talk about my monthly list, and then I'm going to go over into the weekly list. I don't always do a monthly list, but I do think a monthly list is good. I especially do a monthly list if I'm having a hard time picking out what are the most important things are to do that month. So here's my monthly list. I'm just covering up some personal things right down here that has some dates. This particular planner has a priorities section, so I just write it down. And I don't usually decorate my monthly. I just use it. And I don't try to write very neatly in this planner because I'm not usually showing it to people. It's just for me, so I just scribble things down as I come to them. So this month I wanted to design my third DK weight sock. I wanted to work on the shamrock socks. I needed to send my mom some socks that I knit for her. And I needed to send out some prizes for the make-along. And I am happy to say that I have done all my priorities for this month, and it's only mid-month, so that's great. That doesn't always happen. Then I write things that I want to finish, and when I do this, I am very aware that I'm probably not going to finish all of them. I will usually focus on maybe 2 to 3. It helps me get my ideas out and helps me figure out what's the most important. And then I usually have a section for other things I want to work on. And I don't think I'm going to get to most of these. I'd like to cast on just some vanilla socks for me because I have yarn that is calling to me. I never finished the Stephen West MCAL last year, and I'd really like to get back to it. The only reason I didn't finish it, I was having a great time knitting it. I was just trying to work my designs, and that kind of took over. I want to work on a sweater for me. I don't do a whole lot of sweater knitting. I'd like to do more, but I'm having trouble fitting that in. And then Sock Madness is probably going to start soon, and I'd like to participate in that, and I have no idea how I'm going to do it, but I get it out of my brain. But the things to finish, I will probably finish the DK socks and the Shamrock socks because I have to. The black socks that I'm knitting are a gift, and I should have finished them already. And the second Heart Explosion, I would have liked to finish by Valentine's Day, but that's tomorrow, and that's not happening. So this helps me figure out what I can actually do in a month, even though I put down more. And I think it's okay to put down more than you actually do. And then on the actual monthly view, I like to write what day I start and finish things. So I've started a couple of pairs of socks, but I have not finished anything this month. So yes, that's what I use this monthly for. So I don't always add stickers. I just wanted to add a few because I like Valentine's Day and hearts, as you may have suspected from this pattern. Anyway, so I'm just going to go with you and set up my journal for the week. Today is actually Monday the 13th already. I would have liked to set this up and do this video yesterday on Sunday, and I was all ready to, and I had the time and brain space to do it. And then the neighbors were playing really loud music. So this will be the tasks that I want to do this week, or to be honest, I write down extra tasks even if I don't think I'm going to get to them this week. What I'm going to start off with is I'm going to look at last week's tasks that I did not get to. And I am perfectly fine with this because back when I did bullet journaling, I learned how to migrate. So this is my week last week. I have sticky notes there because I have an idea for a future pattern, and I'm not showing that yet. So I did do some of my tasks last week, and then some of these other ones I wrote down last week, even though I didn't think I was going to get to them last week. Like making these videos. I actually sort of planned on doing them this week. So I'm going to migrate the tasks over from last week that I didn't get to. That is one thing that I would like to encourage you when you're making any sort of to-do list or you're knitting is, do you really have to do these things right now? You don't always have to work on everything right now, or even in the near future if you don't want to. If it's not aligning with what you want to do right now, you can change your plans. Let's start off with the videos. So I am hoping to make a video for this design. It's actually coming out next week. I'm going to do 2 videos about cabling without a needle because I think I do it differently than other people do. So I might want to offer that. And then when I migrate, I put a little arrow so I know what's going on the next list. And I want to do a video about fixing cable mistakes. So, no promises, but I'd like to do these videos. And I'd also like to do a reel about cabling without a needle. I'm actually undecided about that yet. So I don't just write down what I want to do with my knitting, but I also use this as ideas for things that I want to post. Because for me, posting on Instagram does not come naturally. it takes a little extra brain power to figure out what to post. And sometimes I have a lot of ideas, and sometimes I really don't have as many ideas as I feel like I should. So writing ideas down as I get to them helps. I don't always get to them. And something else I've been wanting to do is a blog post, but I am not very good about writing blog posts yet. Now, I mentioned bullet journaling, and a lot of people think that bullet journaling is about being fancy and a lot of art in your bullet journal. And that's not the original bullet journal method. You do not have to be an artist to keep a bullet journal. I recommend if you're interested in that, because I think it can help change your mindset, not only with about tracking your knitting and planning the things you're knitting or even your other to-do tasks. I think bullet journaling helped me realize that if I don't get to a task, that it's okay. And that sometimes if I don't get to a task, it's because I don't need to do that task, or I don't want to do that task, or it's something that can actually wait until later, and it can go into a different list. It doesn't have to get done this week or this month or even this year. It could be a someday task. So thinking about to-do lists that way, even knitting to-do lists, has really helped me. So even though I haven't kept a bullet journal in years, I feel like it helps me have less stress, less guilt when it comes to not doing things on my knitting list. So now I've copied over the things from last week. And to be honest, I am probably not going to do some of these this week. But I will keep copying them over as long as I feel like it's something that I want to do. Or I might put it on my next monthly list and not necessarily write it in until I'm going to do it. Now in this section, I'm going to put my priorities. And then I usually keep this section for ideas. Like if I get design ideas and I don't want to lose them, I will write them down. And then down here I have notes. And so lots of times when I'm starting a project, I will weigh the yarn and I will write that in my notes section right here. And then I will look back at it when I need to. Now, I know some people do a knitting journal and they'll have a page for each project that they'll put this stuff on, but I'm not doing it that way right now. My planner works for me. And then over here, I'm keeping track of my Instagram posts, because if I don't, sometimes I can go a long time without posting, without realizing it's been a long time. Because like I said earlier, posting on Instagram and coming up with ideas for posts it doesn't come easy. I have to think about it a lot. Okay, so now there are some other things that I want to get done this week. So I wrote about doing those videos. I also need to finish the DK socks. Like that's actually a priority. So I'm going to write that over here under priorities. Now for the priorities, I try only to pick 1 to 2 things, because those are the things I need to focus on for that week, and that I make sure I get done. This to-do list is more like everything I can think of, and if I get to it, great, and if I don't, I don't. And this is not a release week, but when I do have a pattern release week, I will write down a lot of things I need to do, like when I need to get the pattern ready on Ravelry and Etsy and edit the pattern, doing the final picture edits. and updating the links. Now that I've done more pattern releases, I don't necessarily need to put every single thing down, but I did at the beginning to keep track of what I was doing. I also need to start the next pair of shamrock socks because I need to get knitting on those. And why am I making two? Well, the final pair is actually going to be in a different yarn than what you've seen so far. That's actually my next priority. Start next. Shamrock pair. And I actually need to make a good deal of progress this week. Probably at least through the gusset. And I'll write that down. Through the gusset. If I get the first sock done through the gusset, that'll be good this week. So some of these things I write down are just going to be wants. Like I want to work on the second heart sock of this pair. I've only done 2 sections. I've started the heel flap, and I call that Hearts 2.2 because it's my second sock of my second pair. Okay, and then work on black socks. These have been falling by the wayside. They're just a pair of like tonal black socks. They are a gift. I wanted to have them done by Valentine's Day. That's not happening. Too many designs. I have a hard time balancing designing and other knitting, and that is something I need to work on and something that I will probably try to figure out at some point this year using my planner. Oh, I need to set up the sale. I'm going to have a sale tomorrow, Valentine's Day, 1 day only on the heart pattern. Set up heart sale. And I need to do a sale graphic to post on Instagram. I need to make that post today. Sometime today. It's already afternoon. I do not always do everything ahead of time when I should do it. Sometimes it feels a little chaotic. The planner helps me be a little less chaotic. At least helps me keep track of all the things that I want to do, even if I don't get them done super ahead of time. But we're working on that, and that's okay. So set apart sale, sale graphic. All right. So I want to make the 2 videos. I hope I can make the 2 videos this week. So I'm on the second sock for this DK sock. And what I'm going to need to do, I'll probably work on this tomorrow watching some TV because this is TV knitting for me. It's easy enough. And then I will have to stop when I get to a good place so that I can film the videos on another day. And then after I film the videos, then I can finish the sock. So that's how this week is going to be broken up for this sock. This sock, at this point, I don't need to finish it in any time frame, so I want to work on it this week, and I'll probably work on it a little bit tomorrow since it is Valentine's Day. But it's actually not high priority. Same with this. This is unfortunately not high priority, but it is good when I need some vanilla knitting. And then I'm planning on casting on another sock. I can't show you, well, I'm casting on a second shamrock sock, which I can't show you yet because I haven't done it. I actually can't show it for a while, but I have the needles for it. Then I think about the Instagram posts, and I don't always write the Instagram posts out. If I have a particular post I need to post on a certain day, I will do that. But I don't always keep to my Instagram post schedule. Sometimes I move things around. But today I'm going to do hopefully I can do the sale graphic. I will get that made and put up sometime before the end of the day. And then tomorrow I want to post a picture of my heart sock. Post Hearts Whip. That's all I've got planned. Now I may make, if I do make that reel about cabling without a needle, I'll probably, I don't know, it'll be one of these days. I don't know which day yet. It all depends when I get around to making those videos. And then today, like I said, today is Monday. It's already afternoon and I haven't done any knitting today. Now, and I don't always plan my days out ahead of time either. The reason why I like a weekly list is because if I put something specific on a particular day, which I do occasionally, but sometimes I won't do it because I'll look at that. Like I might have a day where I'm very tired and I won't feel like doing a particular thing. Like I won't be able to think about making a reel. I'm still not very good at making reels yet, so it's a little bit of a process. I feel like I have to be in the right mindset to make a reel. So I'm not going to schedule that for any particular day. I don't know which day I'm going to do it. I just know I'm going to do it one of these days. But today I have to do the sale graphic. I'm going to put that up. And the other thing I'm going to do today is I'm going to start Shamrock 2. I'm putting it 2 as 2 means that's my second color. And then, so those are the 2 things I'm definitely going to do today. I don't know if I'm going to get to anything else. Sometimes I don't fill in the daily things until the end of the day. Sometimes I don't even fill it in until later in the week. But I will go back. I like to put the things that I worked on. I don't do anything like timing my knitting or anything because that's just not happening. But I do like to keep track of when I work on things because sometimes I like to go back and figure out, well, how long has it been since I worked on something? Now, I'm not saying that you have to do anything like that, but for me, I like to put it on there. And sometimes I will put on there like, finish the first sock, start the second sock. Like, I like having those things to check off. Checking off things on to-do lists feel very good. And let's put in some things for tomorrow. Tomorrow I know I want to work on the heart sock. Work on hearts 2.2 because it's the second sock, my second pair. Because it's Valentine's Day. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm probably going to work on this cabled sock tomorrow, on this DK sock. So I'll put work on DK sock. And you know what? When I say work on it, even if I do just one round, I've worked on that sock that day. Because even if you just do one round, you made progress. So even if you don't get a whole lot of knitting time in a day, even if you do just a little bit on something, it can make you feel a little bit better and that you are putting in a little progress toward whatever thing it is that you want to get done. So that's what I'm going to do for this week. Like I said, I'll probably maybe I'll do the videos that I want to make on Wednesday or Thursday. Maybe by Friday. I should probably get them done before the weekend, just in case the neighbors have loud music again. So I don't know if that helps give you any ideas, and this might be a bit much for you. Some of my earlier knitting planning before I started designing, before I started posting on Instagram, before I started trying to make videos, it was just a list, like a monthly list. And then sometimes I might have a weekly list, but sometimes it was just a monthly list. And that monthly list, I wrote down the things. Sometimes I might have 5 or 6 things that I wanted to do that month. Sometimes it might be more like 9 or 10. But I think when you're writing down all the things that you want to work on in a month or in a week, you have to be realistic and realize you're not going to get to everything. Like, it's okay to write it down. I think it's good to write it down. I think it's good to sort of have like a master list of things that you might want to work on, no matter where you keep it. Maybe you keep it in your Ravelry queue. That never worked for me. Or just some notebook pages where you keep track of all the things that you'd like to do. Sometimes I will do sometimes in the past I've done like a huge list. Like, I'll take a sheet of notebook paper and just write, 1 or 2 pages of all the projects that I'd like to work on, because I have a lot of things that I'd like to work on. And I would do that maybe every 6 months to a year, maybe a year and a half. It would depend on whenever I feel like I need to really make an update to the list. Like if I had a whole lot of things in my brain that I really wanted to get out. Someone asked me a question. It was about, do I know what I'm going to work on ahead of time before I cast on? Something like that. And I think, I'm not entirely sure, I'm going to guess it was about design work. And I'm going to say it depends. Like, there are times when I have a charted design like this has to be done. It has to be charted out first before I cast on. I can't start knitting a colorwork chart without having the chart in front of me. So I do that in the charting program. But there are other designs that I do design on the needles, like this one. For example, I designed this on the needles, and I knit the whole entire sock before I went back and wrote the pattern. And I didn't take any notes. I don't necessarily recommend that, but it happens sometimes. So I just have to say it varies. And sometimes I cast on, and sometimes I cast on and design on the needles and it just doesn't work. And then eventually it turns into something completely different. And sometimes I cast on and design on the needles and it works the first time. So there's not one answer to that question. It just really depends. So I don't know if that answered the question, but so as a bonus, I thought I would show you what I use to keep track of all my test knits. So in this notebook, I will have a page or 2 for each test. I don't have my very first test in here. I didn't start this notebook until my second test knit, but I have a list of everyone who tested. It has their Instagram handle, their email address. That's why I'm not showing you any of the pages, because I'm not giving out anyone's email address. It has what size they're knitting, and if they have a Ravelry name, I try to write that down too. And then I will also mark whether they're a new tester to me. And then at the end of a test, I will go and mark who finished the test. And it also will have other things like start and end date of the test, the pattern release date, if I remember to put it in there. And then if a person finished the test, if they were a new tester and they completed the test, I will add them to my master test list. You know what? I need to add one more priority. And that's just going to be cabling videos. Because I can't finish the DK socks and then make the cabling videos. So, do you keep a list of things that you would like to work on or finish? How do you work? How do you go about it? Or do you just pick up your knitting day by day and knit on whatever you want and don't worry about it? I think that's a great way to go about it too, if that's what you want to do. But if you're trying to fit something in or do something new, then maybe, or maybe you're not getting to a project that you really want to get to, then maybe you need to put it on a list and make some time for it. It's really all about what you want to do. So let me know in the comments, do you plan your knitting? Do you want to plan your knitting? Do you not plan your knitting? And do you have no desire to plan it? So maybe I'll come back. Should I come back and give an update to my week? Let me know that in the comments too. Did I get the things done that I wanted to get done? Because I don't always. Would you like to see maybe a shorter video about that? If you're still here with me, thanks for watching.